And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm your host, Paul DiRienzo. My guest is Paula Barouh. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you.
And she's a performance artist and got in touch with me through a creative way. She used the internet to search a show, and she got in touch with me and found me, and now we're here doing the show. And that's great. It's a first for Let Them Talk, and we've been doing this for a while now.
Wow.
So welcome to, so Paula, are you a New Yorker?
No, not really. I live in Chile. I come here like every 2 years to do music stuff, to connect with people, and to study. I came to study like twice before, acting and musical theater thing. There's not much of that in my country. So now I'm promoting a new performance show, a one-woman show called Descargo y Maleficio. And it's been a wild path since I got here, you know.
Yeah.
I contact you through Google, I have to say, you know. And, well, I'm having 2 gigs. One is next Saturday, and the other one is on 25th, you know, so it's been crazy.
Right, wow, preparing. So let's go through the who, what, when, where, and why of everything. So the gig that's coming up Saturday.
Yep.
Tell us about it. Where is that going to be?
Okay, this is an event called Fonda Rock. Happens that my country's Independence Day, it's on September 18th. So there's some Chilean people here, a group of Chilean artists and actors and stuff, who are making this celebration, you know, doing this event with a lot of Chilean things, Chilean drinks, Chilean acts, and I'm in it. So
cool.
I got invited. I got there, you know.
So where is that going to be again?
It's going to be, I wrote it here, you know, so I won't forget it. 80 Vernon. This is in Bed-Stuy.
Right, 80 Vernon Street.
80 Vernon Avenue, actually.
Vernon Avenue.
Avenue,
sorry.
Actually. This
Right.
is in the G train,
Right.
and it's in Bed-Stuy. It's going to be a party from 8 p.m. to 2 in the morning, so it's going to be crazy with Chilean drinks,
Right.
Chilean performers.
And this is coming this Saturday, right?
This
is
Saturday.
Cool. All right, great. And then there's another event. We'll just briefly go through it and come back to it later. And that's
Sure.
on the 23rd, right?
The other event is called This is Poesia. It's made by some Spanish people from Spain living in New York. So they're going to do this market fair with poetry and performers and painters and all that. And it's going to be on 25th in this restaurant called La Nacional. It's a very old Spanish restaurant. It's on Union Square West. You can Google it. It's very easy to get there,
Right.
you know.
We know where Union Square is, most of us.
Of course.
It's pretty easy to find. And it's on the
very
west
easy.
side, not the east side, and the
Yeah,
restaurant La Nacional
west
is there.
side. Yeah.
Right. All right, great. And when is that? This is the 25th
25th.
of September. And what time is that beginning?
I'm going to be performing at 7:30. I'm going to open this event, so don't miss it. And then you'll have open mic, and some artists are going to paint. There's a DJ, you know, there's a lot of things going on there.
All right, great. So we have some videos queued up to give people an idea of the type of work you do, Paula Barouh from Chile, and I have a lot of questions. So let's begin by showing the first video. What are we going to see?
We're going to see a video poem called Azul Violento, Violent Blue, and it's about the public transportation in Chile, which is very aggressive.
All right, how people get around. All right, let's go to it, Anna. Thank you.
You know about it.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but I've been to nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Azul amargo. Almas violentas contagian destrucción. Se aglutinan en mares de profundo amargor, cosechando el odio que el descontento les sembró. Azul violento, desquitas los golpes que la vida te dejó, propagando tu ira infestada en cada codazo y pisotón. Función de sadismo, impunidad permanente, martirio, extremismo, sujeto indolente. Tu meta, llenar el espacio sin forma de un sucio vagón, cumpliendo el sueño ajeno, ese del que te crees dueño, pero en realidad es de tu patrón.
Barouh there. Tell us a little bit about that poem. What's that about again? What translate for a couple of folks who don't speak Spanish out there? It's not too many.
I know. It's about how hard it's to get into the public transportation because people in Chile, you know, they're kind of full of rage at some point. You know, I don't know if many of them have miserable lives. You know, so what they do is to do this, beat you up.
When they get on the subway or the train.
Yeah, like they push you, they beat you up, like, and they don't say anything about it. They just have like this, I don't know how to call it, immunity, some kind of immunity. You know, they just beat you up and they go by and they disappear, and you are like hurt.
That's in Santiago, right? The big city,
yeah,
right?
that's the big city, Santiago.
Right. Wow. How long have you been doing this kind of work?
Oh my God, since 2017.
And what got you into it?
First, when I came to New York the first time, you know, I studied theater and I began to understand musical theater. I always wanted to do something that involves a lot of disciplines, you know, like visuals and poetry and singing and the text and the voice, you know. So I came up with this as a first stage of, you know, a much bigger project that I want to do in the future, probably to turn it into a musical. I don't know. You know, it's getting there, I think. So I was very interested about one-woman shows also here in the city, because I never heard about it before. You know, there's not that many in Chile. You know, so I got so impressed that I wanted to do that. I knew that I wanted to do like a one-woman thing. You know, like a solo show, which involves a lot of this. You know.
Right. Cool. Very cool. So, and you did it on, and this is Santiago, the capital, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we have queued up another video, and what are we going to see next?
Well, this was an experiment. I went to the street, all bloody and, you know, bruised with this bloody flag, Chilean flag, to you know, scream some poetry in the street, to see some reactions. The thing is that people, you know, around, they didn't react at all, you know. They just passed by, you know. They didn't care, you know. And I was hoping to get a reaction. So I went to the, you know, the Chilean White House, you know, the Moneda House, you know. It's surrounded by...
I'm going to ask you more about that later.
Yeah, it's surrounded by cops, you know. Yeah. So I went to the poetry.
Still.
Yeah, still. Yeah. Always. You know, they're around, you know. There's fences all around, you know. You can't just get in like very easy, you know. So I was there and I began to do this poetry very loud, and they came like right away. So they reacted, not the people at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look and then we'll talk more.
Chile, nación del anhelo muerto, historia dolorida, te metiste conmigo y con el que sueña, nos bajaste con rencor a una pesadilla, nos diste palabras encogidas de miedo,
Okay, that was great. Good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job. That was
Thank you.
great. Wow. I don't know how many people know about Chilean history and the significance of that spot.
Oh yeah.
When I was a young kid in high school, and the Vietnam War was happening, and so the Chilean struggle and what happened with Salvador Allende, who was basically the Bernie Sanders. And I don't think his politics were that much more radical than Bernie Sanders, basically a social democrat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then our president and Henry Kissinger, our Secretary of State, basically launched a war against your country.
So you
war.
acknowledge that.
Yeah,
So
they
you're
launched. Yeah,
aware
they
of
launched.
that.
I know they did that. They did, and then your greatest poet of all time, one of the greatest poets in the Spanish language, was brutally murdered in a very famous stadium.
Oh, Victor Jara.
Victor Jara. Right, Victor Jara, right?
Yeah.
And let me see. I remember all this. And then they killed the president with an attack, a military attack, right? And then you had Pinochet for years.
For 17 years.
17 years, a dictator.
Yeah, I was a kid.
Yeah. You grew up in that era?
Yeah, I grew up.
That guy.
I was born in '76,
Right.
so I was a kid during the whole dictatorship.
Right. When his that starched suit that was never too long, it was never long enough to you had to pull it all the time. I could watch that, right?
Yeah.
And so he was a brutal guy. He was like a dictator, hardcore dictator, supported by the United States, anti-communist, blah blah blah, all that kind of thing, right? And there's many movies in America. We had the movie Missing by Costa Gavras, which is a great movie because it was a young American guy who got wound up getting accidentally. They thought he was somebody else, and they picked him up, and he disappeared. And of course, he was an American, so everybody go crazy trying to find him. And that's how Americans learned about it, what was going on, is because one American happened to be accidentally swept up in all of that.
Well, I'm surprised that you are actually acknowledge that. It's been hard for the country. I think somehow we haven't recovered from that. The country it's still divided. We have two versions of the same story. The same thing that happened. A right wing have one version of this. They say that Pinochet is a hero. And then the left wing says, okay.
Victor Jara, who has his hand broken because he was a guitar player.
He was brutally murdered, by the military.
Right. That's like Bob, in this country, it would be like Bob Dylan being beaten to death because he played Blowing in the Wind.
Exactly.
And then Nixon had him beaten to death. I'm sure he wanted to in his wildest dreams, but he couldn't pull it off. But they got away with it in Chile because the U.S. helped them do it.
He was. The guy was.
Anyway, my generation, who's not a right Trumpoid fascist, knows this is true.
Okay, but the killer is here in the States. Actually.
What was his name?
Victor Jara. I don't remember his name, but he went on trial.
Yeah, there was a bunch of conspiracies. I know a lot of people, friends of mine, tell me, this radio station, this TV station was over the years, many people have dealt with these issues, especially in that generation. Older generation of mine, my friends, older friends of mine, were very much, I was still maybe in high school at that time, junior high school, but friends of mine who were, activists at that time in college in the anti-war movement, it was a moving thing to them because we had like Kent State and, our version of that, not as bad. But we had incidents where they swept up protesters and put them in a stadium after that happened.
Oh, yeah. No.
During the anti-war protests, but they didn't do anything brutal to them inside the stadium, but they pantomimed it plenty, Yeah. Like that's what they would have done if they could get away with it.
Well, yeah, probably,
But anyway, that's So does that inform? I mean, when I saw you doing that in a blood-soaked Chilean flag in front of the Moneda Palace, knowing that I know that history. I don't know if how many of our viewers know it. Did that go through your mind when you created that work, or it had something to do with something else?
No. It is a protest. My project is a protest. About how artists in Chile are treated. Yeah. They don't worth anything. It's a country. Chile is a country who doesn't care who is not who. That doesn't care about art, and about artists, about anything of that. So all the artists had to struggle, to get through that. To have something to eat. To have like an insurance. They don't have an insurance. They don't have anything. Yeah. They die alone. In poverty, and we don't have laws for that. We still don't have that, You
don't have a social safety net.
No, not at all, There's a society of authors that take care of that, but just for a few people. There's not for everybody. you know, so it's very hostile, you know, and to be a woman among all of this, you know, all this hostility towards the artist is very hard too, you know.
Yeah.
So this is a protest,
Right.
you know, to somehow, you know, make these issues visible. You know, all these issues that.
Well, I can see the police moving up and getting on their radio, and all
Very
you're doing
fast.
is like in a costume running around. I mean, people do that in Times Square every day.
There's a lot of repression there, you know, still, you know, especially in protests and some Pacific protests, they go anyway, you know, like to separate
They attack
people.
it with clubs and everything, and break it up, and tear gas and everything in the streets.
Tear gas. I'm sick of tear gas. I live in this area where all the protest takes place. So I'm full of tear gas most of the year.
Oh,
you
really?
know? Yeah.
Constantly happening. Right?
Yeah.
We don't even hear about it here. I mean,
No,
we're hearing
I
about
don't-
it now. You're hearing it about on Let Them Talk about the ongoing nonstop protest movement in the nation of Chile going on for almost as long as I've been on the earth and longer than this young woman's been on the earth. And she's this great artist. And tell us where people can see your work this
Sure.
Saturday.
This Saturday, you can see me on 80 Vernon Avenue in Bed-Stuy. It's going to be this event called Fonda York, and you know, like created by some Chilean people living here. And if you don't want to get there that far, you can go to La Nacional here on 25th. You can see this incredible, you know, poetry show by people from Spain, people from all over the world, you know.
And you're 7:30. You're sharp,
Yeah.
7:30.
7:30 sharp.
All right, at La Nacional in Union Square South. Union Square West, right? West side, right? West side.
Yeah.
All right, great. So, okay, we can see your work. And you can also see your stuff on YouTube, right?
Of course, you can find me. This name is hard in English, I know, you know. It's called Descargo y Maleficio, which is like spill out, and malediction, you know. Involves like let it all out somehow, you know.
Let it all hang out, we say.
Something like that,
Let it
you
all
know,
hang
with
out.
a little curse in the middle, you know. Like
Let all your shit hang
yeah,
out.
exactly.
We can say it here. It's all right,
You
we're on
know,
cable.
You got it. Yeah. So you can see a lot of my stuff, you know. There's an album on Spotify too. You can find it. It's right there, you know. Descargo y Maleficio. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. And you can find me also, you know, because I do a lot of things besides this project. I'm Paula Barouh, you know, Barouh. I learned how to spell it.
Yeah, it's good in English.
Yeah, in English. I had
Very
to.
good, right.
Yeah,
Because you pronounce letters differently.
So, well, that's it. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for
No,
the
glad
space.
to have you on. So, okay, tell us more about your life in Chile.
In Chile, of
Tell
course.
us a little bit about life in Chile. What's it like?
Okay,
what was it like for you?
Well, I'm a voice teacher. I have to say that I'm very lucky because I actually can live through what I do for life, you know, which is singing. You know, I'm a voice teacher. I've been working on that for the past 8 years, and it's been quite a journey because it's very hard for a musician to live in Chile, to make a living, you know. So I think in some way I accomplished that. So I feel kind of grateful for that.
Right. So you teach songs, voice
Voice and singing,
singing,
you know,
right.
all sort of singing, you know, mostly like pop rock and you know, folk music
Right.
and musical theater too. Yeah.
Right. Are
Yeah.
you the Chilean Britney Spears? We're looking for?
Probably, you know, should look for me, you know, should look for me. Yeah, but yeah, I've been around a lot. You know, I've been around a lot in Chile. I've done radio too. I done TV. You know, for a while I hosted a TV show about music, where bands could play in the studio. You know,
Right.
like a very small version of Jules Holland. Have you ever heard about it?
No.
Jules Holland is a British TV show about bands, you know, and
Oh,
a
yeah.
360 stage,
cool.
you know.
Oh, right.
Whatever, you know.
So you did that?
Yeah, not in 360, but I did that. We had a TV
So
set.
similar to what we're doing here, but a bigger stage, I imagine?
Yeah, with a place for bands to play.
Yes.
You know, so it was very cool actually for a while.
Chilean bandstand. We used to have American bandstand when I was a kid.
American bandstand.
Right, with Chilean bandstand.
Yeah, Chilean bandstand.
Right.
And well, I've been around, you know, in media, and well, now I'm this poetry thing,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm also in the in a filming field. You know, I'm doing this work with a colleague, Paula. Say hi from here. You know, I'm doing this documentary series about sexism in the Chilean music scene. You know, with a lot of testimonies from singers, you know, drummers, you know.
From like other band members or from managers or the venue owners?
No, from females, you know, like singers and guitar players and drummers. Whatever.
If you're like a singer or you're playing the band, you have to deal with the guys in the band.
Oh yeah, you have to deal with that. You have to deal with sound engineers that they're not nice.
Right.
They treat you like you don't know anything.
Okay, right. And that's sort of, is that like related to Chilean, or is it? I mean, we have it here plenty, but like it's sort of a machismo, like a woman doesn't know as much as the guy. Guy's got to prove himself in Spanish culture.
Yeah,
a lot.
You know, there's a lot of sexism, you know, and you always have to prove yourself, you know, in front of the others, you know, or they always ask you about things if you know what you're doing, you know. If you play bass, they, you know, interrogate you. But do you know the sound? Do you know this? You know, whatever, you know. Like, testimonies like that are
common. So it's a double. Like, if you want to make it in that culture, you have to work hard, twice as hard.
Yeah, especially if you're an artist, and especially if you're a woman artist.
So you're a pretty tough woman then.
I had to be. No, I'm not that tough. Sometimes I had to, you know. I don't consider myself tough, you know. But I know my place, you know, and I'm gonna defend this space among everything, you know, like, you know, whatever it costs, you know. Good. So you have to be like that a little bit in Chile. You have to stand up for yourself and speak up. Yeah.
How about New York? What do you think of New York? What brings you here?
Well, I'm collaborating with a lot of local musicians, you know, and artists too. And I'm also doing these gigs and enjoying the city. You know, I love piano bars. I go a lot to piano bars.
What do you like about New York? Is there anything special? Why New York? Why not Chicago? Why not St. Louis? Why not Miami?
The theater. I love theater. I love musical theater. I go there all the time. I love plays. You know, the variety. You know, it's what I like. I think it's what I like the most about New York theater. You know?
Right, and that's your thing, right?
Yeah, it's my thing. You know, I'm learning every time every time I come is a learning experience, a very deep learning experience. You know, and right now I'm doing things. You know, I'm not like observing anymore. I'm like doing stuff, and that's pretty interesting. You know, you know, it's hard to live here. It's very hard. You know, the actual living. You know, the every day
rent and work and getting by, it's not so easy.
No,
they're not handing out jobs here, and
the
rents are outrageous, and the jobs pay not that great, you know, considering how expensive it is.
Probably, and the transportation system, like the subway, it's like it's something I'm still dealing with. Yeah.
All right, the subway's always so crowded and dirty and noisy, and you don't know where it's going.
And they don't work.
Yeah.
They don't work at all, you know. They cut the lines, you know. They have, my
weekends
God.
is terrible.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I'm not used to that.
Right. What part of the city are you staying in now? What general area?
No, I'm always in different places, but right now I'm so far, and I didn't know that. I'm in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Okay. So far. Last time I was in Bushwick. It was a little better, you know, but right now I'm like, I'm kind of far. And dealing with the subway thing, you know.
Yeah, spend a lot of time in subways. Well, subways are an opportunity. A lot of people perform on the subways.
Oh, yeah, I know. But anyway, you're
Although
so
I do fear when somebody says it's showtime. That's usually scary. I mean, people are going to be jumping around inside the car and throwing their legs around.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know what's going on there, you know. Like, I don't know how to react. I'm just there, like, observing, like, quiet. You know, if something happened, I just run, you know. So, yeah, it's a rough life, I think, for an outsider. You know, for some.
You seem to fit in pretty good. You're doing shows. You're on TV.
But it's temporary. I don't know if I could handle, you know, living
here all the time. You like going back to Chile?
Yeah,
You haven't like decided to become a New Yorker. You want to be a Chilean, a Santiago. The capital of Chile is Santiago.
Santiago,
right?
No, I don't feel like I belong there either. Yeah. But I would like to travel, maybe. Not settle in one place. Probably, I'll probably come back to New York, but not for long. No, no. After this experience, I think I'm kind of. I would like to know some other places, but I love New York. New York is here, I always think of the city, I love it, and it's wonderful, So, well, I'm probably coming back next year. I don't know.
Great. With another show, you can come on the show and talk about it again back then. A couple more minutes. Let's remind people where your performance is going to be.
Yeah. So it's going to be this Saturday in 80 Vernon Avenue. This is close to the G train, and it's going to be this big event called Fonda York. And then there's this other event called This is Poesía. It's going to be in La Nacional in Union Square West.
Right. And how can people learn out more? So you have a web page or anything?
Oh yeah, sure. You can reach for me in Paula Barouh. All the information is there, and in PaulaBarouh.com. All the information is there.
BAROUH.
BAROUH. PaulaBarouh.com.
Right, great. That's good. And you can find out all this information there.
All this information
in the webpage. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so tell us give us the last minute. What are you going to be doing? What's your performance going to be like on Saturday?
That's a funny thing that I never know what is going to happen, because it depends a lot on the people there, because I interact a lot with the people. I try to, I like to annoy them, going speak to them face to face, to see some reactions, to see what they do.
Sure.
And normally in Chile, they don't do anything. They just like stare, like kind of. And right now, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be like a lot of screaming, a lot of, you have to see it. You have to see it.
Come see it, right. You're going to give a special show for the people who show up.
Yeah, sure. It's going to be a special. I'm gonna sing in the middle too, because I sing in the middle. So it's not only poetry. I'm going to do this hip hop song by the end of the show.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be like very like a variety.
Thank you, Paula, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.